Okay, heading into Germany 7 now. Looking at U.S., let's see. So this time they bought 2 destroyers, 2 fighters, 1 sub. So they bought 5 units this turn that are Navy air. So that's going to be a little harder to keep up with this time. Good news is we're sitting at 40 IPC in Japan. So, I mean, we can build 6 subs or a couple destroyers and subs and mix in there. So we can match it, but then we're not building any land, and other areas we fall behind in as well, including the fact that Russia's just staying so big, and it's making it more and more and more tough between Russia staying big and UK getting big over here. It's making the German push pretty difficult, to be honest. I was just kind of skimming out. So here we are on G7, and I was looking at G8, and I was looking at G9, and I'm like, man, it's not looking good. We're almost at a stalemate, because if you think about it, here I'm going to produce 13 units, and that's probably where I'm going to be stuck at for a while. I mean, I could go 14 units and decrease my artillery, but I really want to get offensive power up here on the front line to make Moscow crack sooner. But if I'm making 13 units, and he's got 18 IPC that he's getting here, so he's making 6 units a turn in Moscow right now. Well, that means I really need to be getting, at least 7 units going forward towards Moscow. So I'm building 6 on the quasi front line between these two. And that gives me 7 back here. And meanwhile, UK's got 3 transports, so they're dropping 6 units at a turn, on this coast. So I need 6 units a turn to match them. So that's 6 this way, 7 that way, or really 7 on a bad dice roll and 6. So we're kind of at a stuck, because meanwhile, he's going to be flying fighters, bouncing them over here to Moscow, as well as he can, because of this U.S. North move, he could fly more U.S. fighters in this way. Of course, flying U.S. fighters in weakens him on this front, which is the other side of the coin, right? So I'm sitting here matching him toe-to-toe on this front, so we're kind of even Steven on this front, we're even Steven on this front, and we're just kind of, right now, heading into perpetuality if we don't do something. So I want to get some Japan land on down here, even though that's going to give him the chance. 11 planes able to hit whatever I drop there is rough. But I'm thinking, we'll figure out Japan fully when we get to their turn. But if I come in and I drop, 4 units from the transports and pull over the AA and an infantry, does mean I need to build ground here to defend against him invading Tokyo, though. So that means we're not necessarily going to match his build this turn. But if we drop, worst case 4 units in an AA, because if we lose 1 to a hit back, then that makes it tricky for the U.S. to put the air in there. 1 for the AA, 2 just for the number of units, and so maybe we can clean up this area and get this turned back into orange instead of it being red, and get something going there. So that's the hope, and hopefully we'll push a little bit here, get a little more orange income. So that's a good thing, is that orange income is staying pretty good too, as well as Russian income. But what I'm looking at is, how does Germany gain some traction? How do we weaken UK a little bit? Because the good news, like I said a while ago, taking India means he's not producing any units in this corner. So it's going to be harder and harder and harder for him to take this corner and win this corner right now. But the bad news of that means he's not spending units here. So he's got all his UK money to spend right here, which then is just creating a major headache for Germany on the backside. So what about that guy? I know, Africa, right? We never, generally KJF defense, I don't even think about Africa until I've conquered Moscow. But what if we could start slipping a few units? So he's got all of 4 ground units and then his air down here. He can't fully heavily defend down here with air, because he'd have to pull him from Moscow, which would be rough for him. So what if we leak just a handful of infantry down here this turn, and then next turn move them in here, and we got my tanks here that can be backing up with their reach, and we only need a handful, right? because we can always throw a bunch of tanks real quick to make a breakthrough if we have to. And we've got a pretty good defense lock up here. So maybe we can add a little bit of German income, and maybe we can take away a little bit of UK income. And if nothing else, maybe it'll make him take a turn of bringing transports down to Africa and not pestering Germany on this side, so we can push units forward. So that's what I think I'm going to do. We're going to continue to build in the front line, continue to hold our front line. At some point, the tricky part, the other tricky part with the KJF is when you get half your attacking units in Karelia and half your attacking units in Caucasus, then when it comes time to attack Germany, you really got to abandon Caucasus and stack West Russia. And unfortunately, I got to keep a huge stack up here because he's got a huge, he's got 6 units plus 2 air, plus all his air that he's got here, so plus 7 air. So he's got that plus the 2 units he's got here. So he's got 15 plus his battleship cruiser. So I got to keep a pretty good stack here just to hold Karelia. So it's not like I can even start pushing these guys, through the back door over here to meet up with the front line. So when we make our move, we're probably going to have to combine into West Russia, I'll still build 4 infantry up here at the front because that's an awkward strafe for them. But it's not ideal because that will give him an scapegoat to go south and march through India with the Russian units. So anyways, that's just kind of an update of kind of the state where we're at right now, or at least as I see it, I should say. So here we go. We're going to try and get Japan to chew away a little bit at Russia up here over the next handful of turns. Continue to hold our front here. Continue to hold our front against him up here. We almost, it'd throw a 50-50 out there. I thought about moving my 3 transports and everything here into 59. It would give him a 50-50 shot at 59, though, wiping everything of mine and everything of his, in essence. But he'd still have fighters running around, so he'd have the advantage of that. And I'd have fighters on Tokyo, I guess. But if I got to here, then this fleet would be trapped, right? That they can't go here. They'd have to use destroyer blocks, or they can't stay still. They'd have to use destroyer blocks. They'd have to, with 3 transports here, they'd have to defend West USA and Alaska. And so it would make things really awkward for him. But I'm not, like I said, I don't know that I want to give him a 50-50 on my fleet right now. Because as allies, generally you're going to have more building and coming. But again, when we look at it this way, his income for U.S. is 40, my income for Japan is 40. So, maybe a 50-50 at this stage isn't bad. So we may rethink it when we get to Japan's turn. That's my strategy, is either go to 59 or to come to 62 and try to take this up. The problem if I go to 62 this time, because I'm going to have to build land on Tokyo to match the fact that he's got 4 transports up here now, means I won't be able to match this build, which means coming back to 59 next turn is probably very unlikely. So yeah, that's where we kind of stand, that we can't really do both. In 59, this may be my one shot at getting up here before I start getting slowly overwhelmed. Granted, I do have a lot of fighters, and so I still got room to build 3 more carriers if I wanted to mass on my fleet. So just an interesting little showdown that we're kind of tied here. We're kind of tied here, and see what breaks, what gives. I still feel overall positionally, I feel a little bit better because I am right next to his capital, and he's not right next to my money islands. He's quasi next to my capital, I guess, but not quite the same thing. So in any case, we're going to buy 9 infantry, 4 artillery, and here we go. Ooh, hello. Oh, I know what I wanted to check real quick. Oh yeah. So I was thinking about, should I just do the 3 infantry attack versus 1, or an infantry artillery? Whatever I put here is probably gonna get wiped out by this UK infantry in this air, right? So 3 infantry. I'm thinking about trying to increase my attack strength as much as possible here. So you guys know my formulas on that. So it's not necessarily the same thing as attack power, because unit count comes into attack strength. So my 3 infantry, each infantry is a 3 on attack strength, so that would be a 9 attack strength. Infantry artillery would be a 3, and artillery is worth 5, so that would be an 8. So it would be weakening myself more sending 3 infantry versus the infantry artillery here. So we're going to go ahead and do the infantry artillery attack here instead. All right, there we go. Good deal. That's a good clean win. Ooh, extra clean. Nice. That is nice, because now even if he sends all 6 units and takes France again, hopefully we'll get some hitbacks, and it won't be as much that I have to send that way to hold. Come on. Do I even want to do this? I mean, is it even worth it? One more time. One more time. I mean, I do like killing Russians in this scenario. Come on. Yay! I thought the dice gods were telling me to stop. What do I want to have here? 3, 1, 2. He's got what? Where did my calc go? I had this worked out. I need 10 infantry there. We're building 7, so we need those guys going that way. What I want to put up in Corellia, we're going to be putting 2 up there. I'd like to put some defense up there. Let's see. And then Caucasus. What do we want to hold in Caucasus? 8 tanks. We're going to have 4 artillery going there. So we're going to have 19. 25. So that we can move 3 out. Take me down to 22. We need to move 1 guy there. Move some more this way. Move you this way. Move you this way. Let's see. I figure 3 infantry is a little bit awkward for UK to go 1, 2, 3, 6 fighters and a bomber. I mean, he could choose to do it. Again, that's 9 attack power. Each fighter is 6 defense power. So I'm actually losing more than he's gaining. What if we sent 1 more? Kind of would like to send one more. Are we good on that? Are we okay with Caucasus if we send one more that way? I think we are. 41, 44, 48, 49 units. 21, 29, 38, 42 units. 41 units. That's getting ishy. All right. So let's check our numbers here. I'm putting this in the calculator because I don't trust my counting. So we got 8 infantry, 13, so 21 infantry. We got 7 artillery, 8 artillery, 12 artillery. So that's 33, and we got our 8 tanks is 41. He does have 49 attacking, but it's a lot of infantry. That's the good news. All right. Calculator says he's got 36% at negative 27 profit, so I'm going to be okay with that. So I'm going to send 4 infantry. Again, a little awkward for 7 planes to hit 4 infantry. And again, I know I'm not attacking G8, so even if I change my mind, I can bring him up G8 and G9, G10, whatever. If nothing else, I'll be able to start trading here. So that's the plan. Did I move everybody? Everybody's moving. All right. There we go. So this is the front here. Here's our front over here. And my boats, the number of boats I got. He just still have his UK sub down there.